Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video and the next Hearthstone expansion, which typically the third expansion of the year always goes live early December or very late November, but there is a lot of evidence, and I'm not the only one that's seeing it, where it looks like the next expansion could be announced sooner than later and could possibly coming out earlier than we've ever seen a third expansion come out. And we'll go through all the hints and clues about what that means. And if you enjoy the content on the channel, if you feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like as we're on the road to 75,000 subscribers. So this Reddit thread was posted like 8 days ago, basically saying the third expansion of this year is coming early. And I had a lot of people pointing out a lot of stuff here. We're going to go over some of this as well as stuff that I've noticed, but basically going over the fact that the event where there's like a bunch of free packs and a portrait ends today, which typically indicates like the last bunch of patches that the next patch should be live in or announced for the game, which would be 0.6. And if you're not aware of how the expansion cycle always goes, 0.0 is expansion launch, 0.2 is like the battlegrounds update, 0.4 is the mini set, which is the one we're on right now, and then 0.6 is the pre-order phase, and usually another battlegrounds update, like a mini one, not like the full season reset, and then you go to the next 0.0, which is the next expansion. So with this event going on in-game, it ending in just like, well, in a day or so, there's a chance we might have some new patch tomorrow. And if it's the next patch, it's 0.6 that always comes with the pre-order. Other thing is just looking at the patch timing. This time last year when we had patch 24.4, the mini set, wasn't that different. It was a week later. We had 0.4 here, which was the mini set last year. If you take a look at this year, the 27.4 on this one is 9/18, September 18th. Last year was 9/26 with the patch. So it's not that big a difference, but you'll note the next balance patch, which we've noted some really odd timing that they're really not being very transparent about, with these patches just being really odd and badly timed for like Caverns of Time. Druidstone and Standard right now came like, what, 10 days after that? Last year, the balance patch came quite a bit later, like 2 weeks later than this one, mid-October. And it might make sense that if 0.6 is coming sooner, they're going to have the balance patch with that or something. And it makes more sense why we have this weird temporary ban of the jailer going live, where they're saying, we got a balance patch in the works. We know we want to hit Druid, but we're going to ban the jailer early in the meantime because we see the problem brewing, which unfortunately is still brewing with Druid, but they at least, you know, tried their best. I'm glad that they made that change, but kind of an indicator. And if you take a look at the mini set cadence, typically they come out, it's been weird. United Stormwind 1 came out, the Deadmines, in November 2021, 2 years ago, but it was pushed back by Mercenaries, which launched in October, which yeah, it's almost been 2 years, or what? Yeah, 2 years since it launched and has been dead for half the time. But last year wasn't that big a difference, right? September 27th, September 19th, but still a lot earlier than normal. But the big red flags, the big things that really, other than these kind of weird anomalies where things are a bit earlier, there's some weirdness about the patches, is going into the shop. And it is super telling, at least unless they're messing with us, that something is probably going to get announced sooner than later. Because if you go into the shop, you can still buy the Battleground Season Pass, which you get like the, you know, the pay-to-win portrait selections and a bunch of cosmetics. You'll note that's expiring December 4th. And you'll note that I said the 0.2 patch is when the Battlegrounds gets their big update, which is when they reset that. Typically, the 0.2 patch happens in January, right? It's historically been in January. If we take a look at last year's 25.2, the one came in January 17th, Battleground Season 3 reset. So to me, that indicates we're probably going to get patch 28.2, the Battlegrounds patch, if this is any indicator, unless it's just a big debate, in December, which means the expansion would have to be out already, which means it would have to be out in November for a decent amount of time. And the other kind of big point of evidence here is the Titans Tavern Pass, which usually goes live until the next set, roughly around when the next set goes live, because it gets replaced by that expansion's Tavern Pass. If you take a look at the expiry date, available through November 13th, 2023. That is a very peculiar date. If you look historically, expansion releases the last of the year. We have December. We did have one November, so this could line up with that Madness at Dark Moon Fair cadence, but all the other ones were all in December. There's only been the precedence for November 17th one time, but that would kind of line up right with this shop item. November 17th, this is November 13th. Very similar week. So maybe, just maybe, I mean, all the evidence seems to be pointing that way. They're looking for an earlier expansion launch, which would help, by the way, to not have things so crammed before the holiday season. If you remember last year, there was a horrible balance, basic problem in standard with Wild Paw Null, and it didn't get nerfed until they got back from holidays. There was a lot of frustrations and grievance around that. Maybe they want to, change up that cycle, and they're just taking the frustration with this patch cadence. And last other thing, there's one more big thing that really indicates this possibly. Again, this is speculation. I don't know, but the evidence sure points that way. BlizzCon. BlizzCon is happening November 3rd and 4th, the first week of November, right? And it was noted by some pretty astute eyes out there and retweeted by Ben Hearthstone, the Twitter Hearthstone savant. Hearthstone demo, you say? What could Hearthstone be demoing? And basically, there's all these different events that go on during BlizzCon, which I will not be attending. Way too expensive, and I don't seem to be the only one. It's like the first time ever that BlizzCon tickets haven't sold out, but yeah, there was no way I was going to be able to make that. But you can see Hearthstone featured there. But if you take a look at this graphic, there will be, for Hearthstone, an Artist Nook, Duel a Dev, Hearthstone Demo, the Tavern Theater, Warcraft Tavern. And unless they're like revealing another brand new mode just after they had Twist go live with the Caverns of Time, there's no indication on the roadmap we saw earlier this year of any like lock thing that would be really hinting at that, other than we had the Wild thing and the Caverns of Time, right? The Hearthstone demo, you would think maybe they're going to reveal the rest of the cards, or it would be weird to reveal the expansion, which they normally do at BlizzCon that time, because that's November 4th and the dates don't line up. It feels like we're going to get an expansion announcement like maybe tomorrow, and card reveals could start sooner than later, and maybe they do a full reveal at BlizzCon, or maybe it is just that initial reveal and they have a Hearthstone demo, but then they gotta hide cards. They could do that too. There's a bunch, I guess there's multiple options, but to me, everything is pointing to an earlier expansion launch, which would make a lot more sense to where this like balance patch stuff has been annoying, why the Caverns of Time stuff has been really weird. It would at least make me not question their decision making quite as much if they're like, all right, we're going to reset the cycle, we're going to start scheduling these a little bit earlier so that the the pattern's a little bit better around the holidays and all of that. And what will that expansion entail? Well, if you check out a video we did a while ago, I'll put the thumbnail there. I'm speculating we're getting hero cards. We've gotten them every 2 years since Frozen Throne, and it's been 2 years since Alterac Valley with Guff and all of that. So I'm thinking we're getting hero cards. Also makes sense to do the last set of the year, but maybe it's like the thumbnail I'm hinting at. We got Deathlight last year. Maybe we get the Monk class, but no real hints of that have been happening. So maybe not, and it probably seems a little bit too soon for that, but let me know in the comments below. Do you think we're going to get an early expansion announcement? Think I'm just hoping and being way too much on the copium. We like to do our detective work here, and again, shout out to the Reddit thread that went over this as well. That will be linked in the description below, and I guess we'll find out at some point when it gets announced, but thought I'd throw that out there. Let me know what you guys want to see from that set, if it's going to come out, all that good stuff. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.